Our clan was started by a group of cats fleeing the old clans, Heath Clan, Pepper Clan, and other clan, during a great fire that scattered or killed every cat they knew. They all found each other, having come from different backgrounds and roles in the clans, and were led by a great loner named Oddegg. Despite his nerves, Oddegg made a wonderful leader. During their struggle to escape the great cataclysmic storm that caused the fires, two kids of a loner couple's litter and their mother died, leaving Rosy Crawl, Pepper Clan's youngest medicine cat, to save the other two newly born kits, Sprout and Spider, and he decided to take the two with them, despite their age. Their father was nowhere around, so it was the best that he could do. They were the first ones found and taken in by Oddegg. Echo Paw and Canary Dapple, two acquaintances from Heath Clan, escaped the fire with minimal harm after leaning on each other for support. They staggered their way out of the smoke towards the cries of cats they recognized, only to realize they were not cats from Heath Clan. Distraught, and thinking they were the only survivors, Canary Dapple desperately thought she could survive the smoke despite her burning lungs. She tried to run back into the flames to try to save more members of Heath Clan, but with Oddegg's help, Echo Paw bravely tackled her and told her they were gone for good in a brave display of maturity. Canary Dapple took this hard, but was mostly over it 5 moons later when they arrived at their new camp. They were the second group Oddegg found. Blaze Bubble, Sneeze Egg, and Lichen Kit of other clan were swimming across the river in the old territories, struggling to survive, when Echo Paw, Rosy Crow, and Oddegg leapt into the water and dragged them out to the safe side. Sneeze Egg was sick from smoke inhalation, Lichen Kit had lost her family, and Blaze Bubble was coughing up water. Rosy Crow went to go to tend to Blaze Bubble and Sneeze Egg as Oddegg asked Lichen Kit a lot of questions, including where her parents were and how old she was. Lichen Kit pointed to Sneeze Egg, the only surviving elder of the group at 146 moons old, and stayed quiet. By the time Sneeze Egg was able to breathe well enough to answer the questions easily, 2 rogues, Splash and Ice, had joined them as well, having been dragging dead or dying cats from the fire for the last few hours. The rogues were attracted by the commotion on the riverbanks, and decided to stick around to see where things would go. During the journey, Lichen Kit was adopted by Sneeze Egg, and, 3 moons later, apprenticed to her, as Oddegg had decided to make her his successor if things went wrong. Echo Paw was made a warrior at 10 moons, only a moon after the cataclysm, as she was consistently showing exceptional fighting skill and a strict adherence to the code. She was named Echo Gleam, for the way Oddegg saw her future, and her brown coat, gleaming in the moonlight. After 5 moons passed, Oddegg had peacefully died in his sleep from frostbite a few days before they reached their promised home. He guided them in spirit as Sneeze Egg, his chosen heir, took over the barely formed Arclan and made Echo Gleam her deputy, as she knew she was doomed to lose her life to old age eventually, and Echo Gleam was a young, brave cat who knew what to say and how to say it. Everyone was shocked, as they had expected Sneeze Egg to pick Blaze Bubble, the confident Tom whose insight would no doubt lead her down a path of greatness. Sadly for him, though, the decision was made, and as they settled in their newfound camp, they looked up at the stars, and some swore they saw Oddegg smiling down at them. Arclan was founded, named for the great arc it took for them to reach this point, and they all knew they had greatness ahead of them.